First cases with a very simple way, but fortunately or unfortunately, our first case was very unique. And a 34-year-old male from Chandigarh all the way came here with a familial disease, and this was running in the family, and he was is a dire need of lung transplant. And we he was fortunate enough, and one of the brave boy from the Madurai, 29-year-old male, survived with a young wife who came forward and donated his lung to this patient. The first of all, we like to thank to that family who has donated the organ to this patient to save his life. Uh, since this case was very unique, I like to request Dr. Koni Balasubramaniam, who is our chief lung transplant surgeon, heart and lung transplant surgeon, to give the details about this surgery and this procedure. Dr. Koni.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. I welcome you all and good morning to you. And regarding this case, actually, as Dr. Sanjay Pandey, Journal Director, said, it is really a tough and challenging one, not an easy one. And taking up that kind of case in the first, that to the lung transplant in a one-year-old hospital, it is not easy to perform because you need to have a lot of things. But fortunately, we had a good support from the management. We had all the equipments to do these kind of difficult cases at our Fortic Vadapalani. Regarding coming to the point of this case, this man is a young man, 34 years. He had a familial ILD. This is a rare kind of disease where his both sisters have died and he is surviving. The only treatment option left out is a lung transplantation. It will not cure with the medication. There is no other way he can live without this. So all the way he came from Chandigarh. We evaluated him, and when he came here, his body weight was only 44 kilos. For his age and the height, the body weight should have been at least 65 to 70 kilos. The biggest challenge with this kind of low BMI is when you do the surgery, there will be a lot of complications, especially the high-end surgery like transplant. They'll have a lot of issues. So what we did is we wanted to optimize him and build up his weight. But unfortunately, he had 2-3 occasions there were loose motions was there. And when he came here to our hospital, that is a COVID period, we are not getting a good organ as such because recently the organ donation has picked up. Almost 2 years there is nothing. Like a very, very minimal donation was happening. So he was made to wait. So meantime, we have put him on the physiotherapy and then we gave him a good nutrition. We are trying to improve his weight and then optimizing him for the transplantation. Almost 6 months he has waited in Chennai with the support of the hospital as well as the family. Ultimately, he got an organ from Madurai recently on October 8th, where the organ has to be transported within a speculated time. Like any other organ, like heart, you have to do within 5 hours. Lung, you have to do within 7 hours. Liver, it will have a much more ischemic time. You can up to 12 hours, you can go, and 16 to 18 hours for the kidney. So the limited time period is very challenging. And second challenge for us is the chest cavity. His chest cavity is very small because the lung will become like a fibrous, like a small size. So to get a suitable lung is one first challenge, and second challenge is putting that lung into his chest cavity. So we have to choose the donors meticulously, or otherwise we have to downsize the lung, whatever the lung we get, and then implant it. The problem with the downsizing the lung is his BMI is low and he will have a lot of complication in the post-operative period. So what we have done is we waited for this suitable donor. Once we got this donor, and then we implanted the lung into his chest cavity. So other challenge what we had is he had a multiple ICT tube insertion. That is like a popcorn, his lung will burst open. So what will happen? The air will get trapped into the chest cavity. So they have to put a tube to survive. They have to let the air out. Otherwise, what will happen? It will compress the heart, and then he'll have a fibrillation and he'll die. So the hospital where he was treated earlier, they have done a multiple ICD tubes, and they put some kind of a chemical, fluorosis, what we call it as. So when we open the chest, there are a lot of addition. His native lung was stuck to the chest wall, so it took almost 3 hours to release that chest cavity, the lung from the chest cavity. And there are some bleeding issues over there, but we could able to control meticulously. Once after implanting this lung, it has worked well immediately. Like his lung was functioning well, like normal, as like normal lung, and we extubated him from the ventilator within 48 hours, and he was mobilized within 72 hours. He was shifted to the ward within a week time. The major thing is these kind of cases, it will take longer time. Normally we cannot fast track like what we have done here. One thing is we got a good lung, and we have a good team to support these kind of rare surgeries and difficult surgery, because we have experience of myself and my team had experience of more than 250 transplants, lung transplantation we have done. We have seen all kind of rare complicated cases also, we handled it. So that gives us a confidence to do this kind of cases at our Fortis Vadapalani. Ultimately the patient recovered well, he is getting discharged, and he is happy, and his family is also happy. And
So first he had a lot of breathing difficulty and he was not able to be able to talk or do anything without oxygen support. Now he is feeling comfortable, no oxygen, nothing. He is normal.
ये आपका फैमिली का प्रॉब्लम है क्या? आपका बहन लोग दोनों लोग फैमिली प्रॉब्लम है क्या ये?
Yes, similar thing happened to sisters also.
So this is the first case in India.
yeah, normally we'll see ILD cases that may be because of the pollution or environmental, some trigger factor will be there. But this kind of familial ILDs are very rare. But the treatment is only a lung transplantation. Because they didn't have an option to undergo a transplant, they died. He has an option to undergo a transplantation, he is surviving.